Guys, we are Stoomboy, the combat companion. So, just want to do a quick video. Going to talk about Cage Warriors 199, which was Saturday, 6th of December, Vertu Arena in Newcastle. So, obviously, I had a few of the Scottish guys on there, a few Scottish contingent. So, just wanted to obviously talk a little bit about obviously the matchups. And then what to expect coming forward. Do you know what I mean? So it was an amazing night. Obviously, we had four guys representing Scotland that were on the card, and 4-0, which was absolutely unbelievable. Do you know what I mean? We had four absolutely amazing fighters, and they went out there, done not just themselves proud, done their gyms proud, and done in the whole of Scotland as well. So it was an amazing night for Scottish martial arts for sure. So, and it sets up a whole load of good things coming forward. So, we're very, very exciting to see what Cage Warriors do going forward with a lot of these guys. So, so it's going to be amazing. So, we'll start off with the first one then. So, obviously, big light heavyweight Norbert Pietrzak. Norbert was going into it 1-0. Obviously, had that decision victory in his Cage Warriors debut. Came up against obviously the big 6'8" giant Charles Joyner, who he's a giant, man. Do you know what I mean? When you see him, man, he's an absolutely huge guy. But yeah, went in there and yeah, I mean, I say you got him up against the cage. Hit him with, I think it was a right hand, hit him with a clean right hand, man, which obviously kind of shook the big man up. Had him up against the cage and then just swarmed him. Do you know what I mean? Just absolutely swarmed him. And then obviously referee stopped it. As I say, so the big man had enough. And obviously Norbert coming away with the TKO victory. So obviously Norbert coming out of Pro Core HQ. Do you know what I mean? As they've got some great fighters up there. They're out there doing their thing. So again, it'll be very, very interesting to see what they do with Norbert going forward. Do you know what I mean? Norbert, obviously from Poland, representing Scotland. He's obviously fighting out of Scotland. Do you know what I mean? So it's definitely an honour that he mentioned for him. So he's Scottish, man. We'll call him Norbert Mick Pietrzak. But yeah, definitely out there representing Scotland, doing an absolutely amazing job. So he goes 2-0 in Cage Warriors, or 2-0 his pro career. So yeah, we'll see exactly what Cage Warriors do with him. It kind of opens up a lot of stuff for him as well. Yeah, be very, very interesting, especially after that win over Charles Joyner. I mean, the people are going to be thinking, do you know what I mean, he's going to be a tough guy to stand up in front of. Because as I say, did fantastic, did absolutely brilliant. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, Cage Warrior, let's see what you're going to do with Norbert for sure. So moving on to the next one then, the relentless Ryan Campbell. Now, Ryan was a guy, first time I seen Ryan was 2021. I think he'd had a few fights at that point. I think he was 3-2 at that point. So he'd had about 5 fights. Obviously, I'd kind of known a lot of these guys on the scene anyway. But it was the first time I got to see him kind of live and in person. Bad Boy Promotions, or Bad Guy Promotions, should I say, over at Holyton Havoc. Awesome to watch. Do you know what I mean? Coming through his amateur career, coming up later on in his amateur career. And do you know what I mean? Ryan done an absolute amazing job. And then obviously going into his pro career. And then since going to a higher level, do you know what I mean? He completely, do you know what I mean? He's still got that same kind of pressure, relentless. Do you know what I mean? That's what they call him, relentless, man. He comes after it. But obviously, since going to a higher level, his games went through the roof. Do you know what I mean? And we've seen him put in some fantastic performances, especially in the Cage Warrior scene. He should be 5-0. He should be 5-0. Let's not get this wrong. He should be 5-0, but obviously, the kind of loss that he had, as I said, I remember speaking to him after it, and do you know what I mean? And he was like, he was gutted, man, but do you know what I mean? Realistically, he should be 5-0, not 4-1. So, but obviously on Saturday, man, he goes in there and, man, he took that guy's arm home, man. He took the man's arm home, and And that's the thing with Ryan. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, I hear a lot about these guys when they're in training and stuff like that. And do you know what I mean? I get the chance to speak to them every now and again. And do you know what I mean? And Ryan's definitely one that these lightweights need to watch out about, man, because he's a scary dude, man. He's a scary, scary guy. Such a down to earth guy outside the cage, but as soon as that door closes, man, he's a different type of animal. Do you know what I mean? I say that's. I mean, he was already very, very good prior to going to higher level, but then higher level, James Doolan and the team over a higher level have took Ryan to a whole other level. Do you know what I mean? And he's got a massive future ahead of him. So I said 4-1 now, should be 5, right? But 4-1 now. Yeah, Cage Warriors, do you know what I mean? There's going to be a lot of scary lightweights out there because he was terrifying on Saturday night, man. He was, as soon as he got that arm, man, and he said he heard it cracking, and then I know there was a video of Kieran Reid showing him the video, and he kind of watched it back and stuff like that, and do you know what I mean? That's a scary guy, man. So, yeah, Ryan Campbell, higher level, man, do you know what I mean? So, and again, another one, it's going to be very, very interesting to see what Cage Warriors do with Ryan. Do you know what I mean? I'm buzzing. Do you know what I mean? I say such a nice guy, and deserves. Do you know what I mean? Nothing but the best, nothing but greatness. So we're definitely going to see what's going to happen coming from him going forward. Who we got next? What, the Foote soldier, Jack Foote. Now, Jack's one that. Do you know what I mean? I remember being at Jack's amateur debut. Do you know what I mean? Going back a few years now. And obviously I've been with him ever since, and kind of different shows and stuff like that. I remember Jack was always one that he would turn up to shows, not having any matchups, right? And he would turn up and he'd be like, do you know what I mean? Have you any MMA? Anybody pulled out? No. All right. What about kickboxing? No, there's no kickboxing. What about boxing? No. Any jiu-jitsu, grappling matches? And he would turn up, man. He would just turn up with his gear. Just want to fight. Do you know what I mean? And he didn't care if it was jiu-jitsu or MMA, boxing, kickboxing, or whatever. He just wanted to be in there competing. Do you know what I mean? And he fought some of the who's who in the amateur division coming out of Scotland. Do you know what I mean? Some obviously top guys coming up through that amateur scene. Do you know what I mean? And he done it absolutely brilliant. So and again, such a nice kid, man. Do you know what I mean? Jack's such a nice guy. Do you know what I mean? That anytime I get the chance to speak to him, do you know what I mean? He's do you know what I mean? He's such a brilliant guy. Very, very intelligent. His fighting IQ is very, very good as well. So. But yeah, he travelled the world as well. I mean, obviously, fights out of Urban Guerrillas. He trains over in Holland as well. Goes over to Hensel Gracie over in Holland. Been over at TriStar and stuff like that. So he's got himself about. And he's trained with the right people. He's put himself in the right gyms and stuff like that, and he's got the right training and so on. And so obviously he went in last night. First, he had his debut and got the rear naked choke finish in his debut at Cage Warriors, his professional debut. And obviously went into Saturday night, and guess what, man? Rear naked choke again, second round. Yeah, man, two wins, two rear naked chokes. And again, one of the bantamweights to look out for. And he's brilliant because, again, he goes out there and represents Urban Guerrillas. So when we heard him when he was in the cage, he was shouting Falkirk, Falkirk. So he represents Falkirk very, very well. And he wants everybody to know who Falkirk is, what Falkirk's all about and stuff like that. As he represents, not just his gym, not just Falkirk, but Scotland as well. Do you know what I mean? So he's a very, very passionate guy in regards to what he does. And again, the bantamweights in the Cage Warriors are going to be looking, because the thing with Jack, man, Jack can take a punch, man. We've seen that over the years. He can take a heavy punch, man, and keep coming. He just shakes it off. I remember when I did MMA fight, which obviously we won't talk too much about, but Jack was in my corner. And I remember when we were about to go, Jack's like, right, go in there, Stu, bite down on a gum shield and just go forward, just keep going forward. So, but But yeah, such a great guy, man. Really, really great guy. And do you know what I mean? Awesome to watch. Do you know what I mean? Awesome to watch. So, but yeah, can't wait to see what Cage Warriors are going to do with Jack. Because as I say, Jack's one of the guys. Absolutely love seeing Jack out there. I love seeing him doing well. And as I say, I wish him obviously again. He knows this. I wish him, do you know what I mean, all greatness as well. So, so yeah, Cage Warriors. Let's see what you're going to do with Jack Foote. Do you know what I mean? So, what do we have? Just got a comment coming in there saying, Callum McRobb, Scottish guys were on fire on Saturday night. They definitely were. Do you know what I mean? Definitely were. And that's the thing. Do you know what I mean? I've said this every time I talk about obviously the Scottish martial arts scene. Do you know what I mean? And do you know what I mean? People like your kind of guys who are retired now, like say your Stevie Rays and do you know what I mean, your Robert Whitefords and even like say your Joanne Calderwoods and stuff like that. Going back years, Paul McVeigh's and even James Doolan and stuff like that when they were out there flying a flag and they were laying the foundations. Do you know what I mean? I always talk about laying the foundations, and what they did was they laid the foundations for the generation, so the OGs of the sport. So even like say they laid the foundations, and then what we're now seeing is an influx of fighters coming through who are very, very good, man, and they're gonna go on and do some crazy things. Obviously, we'll talk about the main event in just a second, which is obviously a phenomenal main event it was. But like going back to the days of the OGs, a lot of these OGs learned off videos and stuff like that. There wasn't really a lot of training for them to do in Scotland in regards to MMA. Yeah, you had your boxing gyms, your Muay Thai and all that kind of stuff, but there wasn't really much jiu-jitsu going about back in the day in Scotland. And then so a lot of these guys learned off of watching videos, old UFC videos, and do you know what I mean, just going in and just beating each other up in the gym. Do you know what I mean? And that's how they learned. Whereas now what you've got is you've got a lot of these kids coming through. They've got black belt coaches or they've got ex-professional MMA fighters like say your James Doolans and your Paul McVeighs, your Stevie Rays and all that, Robert Whitefords, and now we're going to see a lot of guys ended up from Scotland, ended up in like the UFC. I mean, obviously Paul Craig just retired there. We've got Chris Duncan's in there at the moment. Do you know what I mean? On a phenomenal win streak at the moment. He's won the last 4, and he's doing absolutely brilliant. Do you know what I mean? Total warrior. But then you're going to see things like, say, your Sean Clancy's and say Jack Foote's and do you know what I mean? And all these other guys coming into the UFC. So it won't be long before we're going to hopefully get a UFC champion coming from Scotland. Do you know what I mean? So, and it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Do you know what I mean? And that's it. It's going to come from this generation that's out there at the moment. So, so yeah, very, very exciting. But yeah, the guys were on fire. 4-0. The Scottish guys ended up on Saturday. So, so yeah, taking us into the main event then. The main event, obviously, Sean Clancy Jr. So, I mean, that combination was phenomenal, and he trains that in the gym. We've seen the videos and stuff like that. I mean, as James doesn't really hide his training videos. He kind of posts the videos and stuff like that. And we've been seeing Sean do that in the gym throughout this training camp. Do you know what I mean? That right-left combo, man, and was it right-left or was it left-right? Let me think. Yeah, it was right-left combo. And the noise off it as well, man, was horrible. Do you know what I mean? That was horrible. And that guy was cold out, man. He was cold out before he hit the floor. Do you know what I mean? And do you know what I mean? Again, I've kind of been seeing Sean for maybe the last 4 or 5 years, 5 years, I think. And seen him growing again, coming through amateurs and into the obviously into the pro ranks and seeing what he's done. It's been phenomenal to watch. Do you know what I mean? It's been absolutely brilliant to watch. He he was tipped from very, very young to do what he's doing now. Do you know what I mean? So to be going out there and winning world championships and stuff like that, became the youngest ever Scottish world MMA champion. Do you know what I mean? The youngest ever. I mean, he's such a huge, huge talent. Do you know what I mean? He's got power, he's got submission. I mean, he's what, 8-0, and he's never went the distance. Don't get me wrong, he could go the distance. I mean, they train, that's what they train. They train like that at higher level. Do you know what I mean? It's not that he can't go the distance, it's just he's never went the distance. Do you know what I mean? He's submitted them, or I think he got 5 TKOs, KOs, 3 submissions. Do you know what I mean? So 8-0. Now that Cage Warriors welterweight, interim welterweight champion. Do you know what I mean? So, and I mean, you as a welterweight, do you know what I mean? You've got to be looking at Sean Clancy and thinking, I don't want any of that. I don't want any of that at all. He's a dangerous fighter. Do you know what I mean? I know that they're talking about the Justin Burlinson. Obviously, I know that Justin Burlinson had as he was coming out the cage saying, do you know what I mean? Me and you next. Do you know what I mean? And but for Justin Burlinson, I mean, we saw Justin Burlinson when he was. Do you know what I mean? He's got visions of being in the UFC. Do you know what I mean? And Sean Clancy is going to be in the UFC at some point. Don't get me wrong, Justin will be in there as well. But it's a dangerous fight, man. It's a very, very dangerous fight for Justin Burlinson. And Justin Burlinson is the same, though, man. He's a finisher. Do you know what I mean? He's never went the distance in his pro career either. He's the opposite. I think he's more submissions than TKOs and KOs. Do you know what I mean? So he's a dangerous fighter as well. So that's what makes it. If they do match this, and they do get it matched up, man, that is a main event and a half, man. Do you know what I mean? Like that's got to be probably. That has to be one of the best main events that Cage Warriors have put together. Do you know what I mean? And again, they've had some amazing fighters over the years. Do you know what I mean? But Sean Clancy Jr., Justin Burlinson, main event, welterweight title. Do you know what I mean? Wow, that it doesn't get any better than that. Do you know what I mean? So, I think I don't know. I think the UFC. Do you know what I mean, if the two of them don't get snapped up before it, I think the UFC will be watching that one and going, right, okay, whoever wins that, if it does go ahead, then whoever wins that will end up in the UFC. Do you know what I mean? So, and do you know what I mean? Justin's a nice guy, really, really nice guy. Sean's my boy, man. Do you know what I mean? So, Sean's my boy, and I just think Sean's on another level from all of these welterweights. Do you know what I mean? He's on another level. Do you know what I mean? And as I say, Justin, I don't know, man. I think you'll have a bit too much for Justin. Do you know what I mean? So, but as I say, I like Justin. Justin's a awesome guy. Got a really, really good story, really good backstory, and do you know what I mean? And he's a very, very good ambassador for UK martial arts. Do you know what I mean? And takes a lot of risks in regards to it. Obviously, he's not a lot of risks. Sorry, he's had a lot of kind of setbacks throughout his career and stuff like that. So yeah, listen, it's going to be a great main event. But yeah, I mean, Sean Clancy Jr., welterweight champion. Do you know what I mean? Interim welterweight champion at the moment. And do you know this was visioned, as I said, many, many years ago, that this was going to happen. His dad, Sean, has been training Sean since he was like 2-year-old, a year old, 2-year-old. And it's proper Spartan stuff, right? I mean, and again, he posts videos of this all the time. So when they were like 2-year-old, it was kind of play wrestling. So they watched like WWE and they play wrestle and stuff like that. And then obviously as time went on, started adding in kind of some punching and stuff like that, and some obviously striking and so on. And then you've got adding in jiu-jitsu and all that kind of stuff. So Sean's been training since he was like 2-year-old, man. And as I said, his dad, he was obviously training with his dad, and then obviously he kind of moved about. But then what happened was when he went over to higher level. And again, Big Sean will talk about this all the time, saying that when he went to higher level, it was like, right, okay, I'm handing my son over to James Doolan. Do you know what I mean? And what James Doolan's done with him is crazy, man. Do you know what I mean? And it's not just his training, but his belief as well. I mean, Sean's a very religious guy, and do you know what I mean? And so he's very, very humble. He's down to earth. So I mean, you're not going to see Sean out there. Do you know what I mean? Like a lot of these fighters out there. Do you know what I mean? Going to parties and carrying on and all that kind of stuff. Do you know what I mean? He's got a young family. Do you know what I mean? And he's such a down to earth guy. They give him a hard time at a higher level because he's dress sense, right? But he's that's just Sean, man. Do you know what I mean? He's such a nice guy, nice kid. Do you know what I mean? He's very, very respectful of everybody around him. Do you know what I mean? He's so appreciative of everybody around him, his friends, his family, the people that come to pay their good money to go and watch him. He's so appreciative. He's got a massive following. And obviously his gym and obviously James Doolan and stuff like that as well. So yeah, it's awesome kid, man. Awesome kid. Do you know what I mean? So guys, there we go then. 4 big fights at Cage Warriors on Saturday. So huge congrats to everybody. So Norbert, Pietrzak of Procore HQ, Ryan Campbell, relentless Ryan Campbell, higher level, Jack, the Foote soldier, Foote, Urban Guerrillas, and Sean Clancy Jr. Of higher levels. A massive well done to all 4 of you guys. You did an amazing job. So, I mean, everybody in Scotland was behind all 4 of you guys. You done everybody proud, man. Do you know what I mean? And capped off an amazing night. I mean, that's the thing, man. You went into enemy territory. Do you know what I mean? Went in there, took the victories. Obviously, Sean comes back with the belt. Do you know what I mean? So you guys did an amazing job. So well done, guys. It was just a pity I couldn't be there. I was down in Liverpool. Obviously, we had an event down in Liverpool. So I was down there, but I was watching Cage Warriors on my phone in between ring announcing and commentary and stuff like that. So I had Cage Warriors on my phone, keeping up to date with the results and stuff like that. So but you guys did absolutely brilliant. So hopefully we'll get to catch up with you guys soon as well. So but yeah, listen, guys, have an amazing evening, and we'll see you all soon.